to welcome each and every individual to Engineer Clarity and Action Vision Coaching. And today we're going to be going through box 5. And so it's important. This is kind of addition, the 530 grid, and then you get into subtraction. Okay, the 4 ways to learn. Okay, excellent. And then you get into, multiplication and then division. Then you start getting in. So hopefully you've gone through and done all of this. Hopefully you've internalized all of it. And so now we're going to be getting into the more complex pieces. And so um, in the prospect conversion system, this is it's a combination of a bunch of different things. And so it's not one thing, it's a number of things. So let's start out with, this right here. And so box 5 is the implement, 5 plus or 10 plus strategic strike. So based on university studies, it takes 6 to 10 contacts to make a sale. Those same researchers found out that the average salesperson makes 1 to 2 contacts. And so if it takes 9 contacts to make a sale, or 10 contacts to make a sale, you only make 9. You've done 90% of the work, but you won't get paid anything. So it's like in golf, you don't putt short. You can putt longer, you can hit it a little harder than you should, and it'll drop in the thing, but you putt short, that doesn't work. And so the same thing is true here. You've got to have systems. Now, internalizing this is like if you're generating leads, if you're in marketing and you're generating leads and you don't have a 10 touch series, if you don't have that in place, you're just wasting money in marketing. And if any of you want to jump in and you have questions or thoughts or an aha moment, go, whoa, that makes a lot of sense. So now what we do is we go ahead and, so box 1 is identify targets. Then you develop and deliver a message and then group people and messages together. So that's the box 6. What happens is here you can move people through. You can move people through these different places. Now, how do you go ahead and improve your 10 plus strategic strike? So this is where you got to pay close attention. And so, why are we losing prospects? So you got to interact. Area 2 pre-sales has got to interact with area 3. So how do you know? So if you have 10 leads, a lead being a name and a phone number from all the different lead sources, how many of those convert? The average in most industries, 1 out of 10. Let's say you're 2 out of 10. You're twice as good as the average in most industries, but you're still not getting paid on 80% of the work you do. This is why you go ahead and in here, you go here. And so you identify targets, develop, deliver a message, track 100% of the leads, ask key questions, and then you present a solution. So you present a solution. If the person says yes, they want to, then you move them into servicing. If they go no, they're not interested, or I want to wait and I want to push it off, talk to me in another 6 months, whatever, that's like a no, except it's worse because salespeople often accept it. So why are they not moving forward? What's the reason they're not moving forward? And so
They don't see the benefit.
yeah, they don't see the benefit. And so if they're not moving forward, you go back to questions. So you go back here and you go there. But in sales, you want as much of your people, you want salespeople going after closes. Pre-sales is you're nurturing them. So if they don't go ahead and go in, you often pull them out of sales and put them back into pre-sales. And then you let your systems, your technology go ahead and work that. So that's often what you're doing. And so, oh, in there, and so in here, we go in, and this is where your Action Vision coach can really help you out, in being able to understand the science of this. Okay, so why did a prospect lose? Often you have somebody else. So, and this is like in the synergy process or life masteries on the 30-minute strategy session. If they didn't move forward to business x-ray, why not? Somebody's got to ask them that. Somebody's got to slide in and say, hey, I'm just curious, how did the 30-minute go? So you do a survey on people who do the 30-minute strategy session. And it probably is going to be a verbal survey. Somebody's going to have to call them up, somebody who has a great voice, and say, hey, you went through the 30-minute strategy session. Appreciate that. We just wanted to ask you a couple questions. If you didn't mind, just take a couple minutes here to, see how we can improve that process. So if they didn't move forward with it, you ask why. Why are prospects not doing it? Then it's too much money. I'm not sure. I don't see. I'm new. Whatever the objections are, you document those. Then what you do is you go ahead and do a box 12. So you go to your current customers. You go to your current customers, and then you go ahead and create testimonies that's addressing these specific things. So if somebody says it's priced too high, so you get a testimony that says, from one of your current clients, your happy clients, and you say, initially I wasn't going on. It's the feel, felt, found method in sales. I know how you feel. Others have felt the same way. This is what they found. So what you're doing is you're taking your knowledge from box 13. You're then coming up with a solution from box 12. And then you're feeding that back in your strategic strike. You can then do that and group people together so you can use one strategic strike to move all of them, a whole group of people. And that then feeds back into, pre-sale, sales, and servicing, and client or relationships for life. The successes can feed back into sales. And so, you might have 10% of your customers referring 90% of your business. Well, why are they referring? See, it's questions. It's curious questions. So many people are zombies in business. I feel sorry for them. They're not paying attention. They're just doing the mechanics. They're not really thinking about how do these different pieces work together. And so there's actual courses out there. There's actual courses out there like the PCS course. There's a whole course in box 5. I think it's a 7-week course in box 5 on prospect conversion system. 7 weeks that teach you how to do box 5. There's another, I believe, 7-week course that's titled the Magic Seed System in this. So what I'm doing is I'm just giving you kind of an overview. If I was developing expertise in pre-sales or in servicing or in sales, I would go through these courses to go ahead and master them. There's another course, I think it's a 7-week. I think all of these for box 2 is sticky messages. So what we're doing is if you've gone through those courses, then you've gone through the hard work and saying, oh, okay, that makes sense. I have the privilege, the benefit. I have the privilege and the benefit of teaching developing the curriculum and teaching all of these courses. Like, that's pretty cool, right? And so, that's really neat. And so in looking at this here, if you go into, for an example on this, if you go into Clarity, here you can see, you go into business again, then you go down here and you can see, Action Vision case study library. So there's actually a case study library here. And so this case study library will give testimonies. And so, here somebody says, my biggest challenge, I need to, clone myself. Here, biggest challenge, I need to increase my vision. Here, I want fast results. Here is I used to procrastinate. Here is I'm looking at profitable partnerships. I need to take employees and have better ownership. Um, I lost my dreams. And so there's all of these testimonies. They're written testimonies and then they're put in 1 minute videos. So so all of this here, you have a whole bunch of these here. You have a whole bunch of them. They're already done. The hardest work is done. So it's like, okay, so now we just need to go ahead and plug them back into box 5 in the strategic strike and using the MCAT system and the AP automated processes. That's what it is. And the order that they go in. And so somebody's got to put that together in the technology. Then somebody's got to study that. What's happening after the first one? What's happening after the second one? What's happening after the third one? So hopefully we've gone over a lot of information in a short period of time as we do in all of these. Talk to your Action Vision coach. We may do follow-up sessions. And so you're doing this and you're going to run into some challenges and it's okay. So we come back and say, how do we address these challenges? So always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Hopefully this has been a great session for you and you'll be able to share it with other people on your team and do some amazing things. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.